If you feel like you are drowning in a home that feels overwhelming to keep up with, we're going to talk about 4 things today that you can focus on daily that will help reduce the chaos and bring more peace and calmness into your home.
Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast.
We all know that our homes should be that place where we can just relax and take a deep breath and feel super calm. And this is where we want to be when everything else feels chaotic outside of the home. But when we don't have the right habits or systems or routines or anything set up in the home and inside the home feels chaotic, then we don't have that place to really relax, and it can kind of spiral from there because then everything just feels frazzled. And if we can really focus in on what is happening in our homes to help our homes feel less chaotic and more peaceful, then it is going to give us that homey, just cozy feeling in our hearts. And then you're going to be able to have more of that safe space at home. So, we need to figure out how to actually start creating that environment at home when it's currently feeling chaotic. So, there are 4 things that I want to kind of focus on today that I think are super helpful for me, and I'm hoping that they will be helpful for you if you are feeling like nothing has a system and everything just feels a mess. This is where I would encourage you to focus. And if it feels overwhelming to focus on all 4, remember you could always start with 1, focus on that, get that in place, move on to the next one, and go from there. So I'm going to talk about 4, and if you're already doing some of these, that is amazing. And if you're not doing all of them, then see if you want to incorporate some of them into your life and see how it goes. You can always tweak it if you don't like it, but just test it out and give it a good chunk of time to really get the feel of it and see if it works for you or not. And if you hate them, then you can scrap them and go to something else, but this will at least give you something to start with. So we're going to talk about those 4 daily habits for less chaos and more peace in your home. So, number 1 is to find a rhythm for your dishes and stick to it. Dishes are one of those things that I used to hate doing dishes, especially silverware or those crusty pots and pans because we left them overnight because we were too tired to do them after dinner or something like that. And I always despised doing dishes. And now I actually don't mind doing dishes at all. And I think a big part of that is because we have found a rhythm that works for us and then we stick to it. Now, we're never 100% perfect. So I will say that there are definitely days where we don't follow it 100%, but they are very few and far between because we know how much of a difference it makes. So the normal should be sticking to it. The abnormal should be when you kind of let it go, because again, not everybody is perfect. So you just want to give yourself some leeway. If you miss a day or two, it's going to be fine. You're not failing at anything. You're just human and you can pick it up again and move forward. So finding your rhythm for your dishes and sticking to it is something like knowing when you're going to load up the dishwasher, when you're going to start the dishwasher, and when you're going to empty it. So rather than just going by some random schedule and waiting until the dishwasher fills up and then having it run, and so then it's running in the morning on some days and the evening on some days and overnight some days, like it can get kind of confusing. You never have a full system of when the dishwasher is going to be unloaded or filling it up because you don't know if the dishwasher is empty. So then you put dishes by the sink because you don't realize the dishwasher is empty, or there's always that like question on whether or not the dishwasher is empty or if it's full of clean dishes or anything like that. So when you create a habit to load the dishwasher and empty it at a certain time, it helps to create that that rhythm of being able to know exactly when you can put dishes in the dishwasher. So, an example of this might be like what we do. We don't run the dishwasher during the day. If you have to do that, then you're going to have to find, a time that works for you. But what we do is we load up all the dishes throughout the day because the dishwasher is empty. We load up all the dishes throughout the day and then even after dinner, and then we leave it and we don't start the dishwasher until we're ready to go to bed, just in case we go get a snack or we go get a glass of water and we need to put that back in the dishwasher. And as long as there's space, I should say. So, as long as there's space, we don't run it right away. And then what we do is we make sure that before we go to bed, we kind of have our little roundup routine before we go to bed. And one of the habits there is that my husband will go and start the dishwasher. He's kind of taken that on, and that's what he does. So he will go and start it as he's getting ready to go to bed. So it runs through the night. And then when I get up in the morning, I get up before him. So I will go and unload the dishwasher before he even gets up for the day. And then we know that we are starting the day with an empty dishwasher. And now, as we use dishes throughout the day, we can load them straight into the dishwasher and it will be ready to go when we get to it in the evening to start it. And that's what works really well for us. Yes, sometimes it's really full and we have to hand wash them, and we can do that, but a lot of times it is like perfectly full, or it's sometimes not even close to being full. But what we have found is if it's not full and we don't run it, it screws up the next day. So even if it only has a few dishes, sometimes we'll just take them out and hand wash them and just make it super easy. Or my husband will just actually just run it even though it's not full. And I know that a lot of people are going to be like, that's such a waste of water, and it probably is, but it does happen so rarely, but it keeps us on track and it makes such a big difference. So that is one thing that I think is so important if you have a dishwasher, to have a schedule that you run it by and stick to that. And it's going to help you so much because you know exactly when you have to run it and you know exactly when you have to unload it. And then you'll have an open and clear dishwasher all day to load up your dishes as you go. Another way of doing this is to reset your dishes after every meal or snack, or after every meal or snack. And this means you kind of maintain no dishes in your kitchen. So if you are going into the kitchen to grab a snack, you can put it in the dishwasher, or just quickly hand wash it and let it air dry. You don't have to go crazy about washing and drying and putting away and everything, but you're making sure that you're leaving clean dishes in the kitchen if they're in there. If you are in the kitchen and you are, creating something and you don't have dirty dishes, then check if there are any clean dishes to put away. You're constantly kind of doing this little overview of dishes so that it's always just a little bit of dishes and it's never just this mountain of dishes. And I feel like the mountain of dishes is what I despised so much about dishes, is that they would pile up and then it would just be this overwhelming task of dishes. And the other thing is, as you're doing this, because you're keeping up with dishes as you go, you are not allowing them to really dry, and they don't get that crusty caked on food on all of your, pots and pans and plates and everything, because you're rinsing everything off or you're washing everything off, putting in the dishwasher or hand washing it right away. And it just makes everything so much easier to keep up with. The other thing I want to mention here is with the rhythm with the dishes is making sure that as you're cooking, fill your sink with hot soapy water and wash as you go, because when you are done with the meal, you are going to have so few dishes left that cleanup after dinner or after the meal that you're having is going to be a breeze because you've pretty much done everything as you go. So that is what I mean when I say find a rhythm for dishes and stick to it, because once you get in the habit of these little things throughout the day, it is going to make a huge difference, and you won't end up with just that mess of dishes in your kitchen all the time. The second daily habit is to do a quick tidy up before relaxing at night or going to bed. And this is where I was saying, like, you have those little things that you do before you go to bed. And one of the things that my husband and I do, we spend a lot of time in the evenings in our living room. And a lot of times I'm cold, so I have a blanket with me and I've got, pillows stacked up, and my dog is on a blanket next to me on the couch, and my husband's got his blankets, and or he doesn't usually use a blanket, but he's got his pillows kind of stuffed behind his back and things like that. So we kind of make a mess of the couches in the evenings. But before we go to bed, we have a routine. So my husband will actually take our dog out to kind of take a little potty break before we go to bed. So when he does that, I am straightening up the couch and folding the blankets and straightening the pillows. I'm picking up any socks that got kicked off or dishes that we used, and those go back in the dishwasher. And we're just kind of tidying up that space before we go to bed. And then my husband comes in, gives our dog a treat, and starts the dishwasher. Like, that is our nightly routine before we go to bed. It's just taking a few minutes to really reset your space so that when you get up in the morning, you're not coming down to a messy space in your home, or coming out to a messy space in your home. I always say coming down because our bedroom's upstairs. The third habit that you want to focus on is focusing on your daily 7 home routine and creating this routine that is customized to you so that your home is reset with the things that you think are the most important. And this is done daily, because if we do it daily, it doesn't build up so much. So it actually is quicker when we can keep up with this. It goes so much faster rather than just doing it, once or twice a week. So I say focus on your daily 7 home routine. If you go back to episode 5, it explains how to create this for yourself. And I have a later episode too that walks you through what I do, and it is still the same from when I did that episode. How long ago? I think it was like 2 years ago that I did an episode that I said, copy my daily 7 and you can tweak it from there. And my daily 7 is still the same, because it just works, and it works for me. And you can copy mine or you can create your own. But basically, what your daily 7 home routine is selecting the 7 tasks that work for you, that you feel like need to be reset in your home. So if you think, it's super important to do your toilets every day or to vacuum the floors, like, these are the things that are going to be on your daily 7 home routine. You're going to put them in an order that works and flows really seamless and is the most efficient way to do it. And you might have to test it out a few times, but basically you're selecting those tasks, you're putting them in an order that works the best, and then you're repeating it constantly over and over and over and over and over and over. And you're doing it every day in the same order. And it just makes keeping your home tidy so much easier, and it takes less brain power, and it just becomes an automatic thing that you do, and you don't have to think so much about it. And it just makes your home feel so much more peaceful. And it's usually like company ready every day, because you don't have to worry about taking this huge chunk of time to go through and deep clean your home. You're really focusing on just resetting those 7 tasks first, and then deciding if you want to keep going for like a deeper clean anywhere. But really, you're only focusing on those 7 first to reset your home, and then you move on from there. Or you can stop after the 7 and move on with your day. So it is just something that you repeat daily, and it makes a huge difference in keeping that chaotic feeling away from your home. And then the fourth habit is to do at least one load of laundry daily. And if you have a house full of laundry, you might think that this is not going to keep up, and it might not, but it will at least get you through. And if you focus on doing at least one load a day, then you're not going to have a day where you have all day you are switching out laundry and it's just overwhelming, and you have like the mountains of laundry piled in your laundry room. Like, that's not going to happen, because you are doing laundry every day, and it's going to help you keep up with it at least. And if you don't have a ton of laundry, then you're always going to have your like cycle going through, and you're never going to have a big laundry day because you've been maintaining it all week, and it keeps it super simple. So this is like, if you don't have enough clothes to do a full load of laundry that day, then look at what else you can do to help you keep up with all your tasks. Do you need to wash any, curtains or drapes? Do you need to wash any bedding? Do you need to wash any of those guest blankets that you have stacked up? Like any of those things, this is a good time to do those, because if you focus on one load a day, it will help prevent you from feeling overwhelmed with laundry as a task. And we all know how much better it feels when we know that we can open our closets and we have all of our clothes hanging and clean, and we're not like searching for something because everything is in the laundry and everything is dirty and now we don't know what to wear. Like, you won't have to deal with that because you will be keeping up on laundry, so you will never have to stress about what is or isn't clean. Now, like I said, these are 4 things that work really well for me. If it feels overwhelming for you, then just take one and really focus on one at a time and let it make a difference. Let yourself, test it out, see how it feels. Tweak it a little bit if you need to, and then move on to the next thing. And as you get all 4 of these in place, you're going to start finding that your home just naturally feels calmer. So, I will recap those 4 daily habits for less chaos and more peace in your home, and hopefully they will make a big difference for you. So, number 1 is to find that rhythm for your dishes and stick to it. Habit 2 is to always do a quick tidy up before relaxing at night or before going to bed, whatever works for you. And you can do the same thing in the same order and just make it super quick and simple, and it will become a habit. Habit number 3 is to focus on completing your daily 7 home routine. And obviously, you want to do that daily. And habit number 4 is to complete at least one load of laundry each day. So I hope that that was helpful for you. Like I said, if you need to go back and create your own daily 7 home routine, you can go back to episode 5, and that is creating habits to keep a tidy home and take back your time. So that is the episode that will help you build your own. And like I said, I do a later episode where I share mine, and you can just copy mine if you need a starting point. But episode 5 will help you walk through what it actually is and what the purpose of it is, and how to build your own. So if you are feeling chaotic and overwhelmed in your home, I hope that this episode is going to help you reduce that chaos and bring you more peace.
Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.